Hello viewers, welcome to my channel Shraddha's Physics. This video is based on statistical mechanics for the core 14. In the last classes we have already discussed the degenerate Fermi gas, and from that we have studied there are two cases, one is weak degeneracy and another one is strong degeneracy. So in the weak degeneracy case we have considered this alpha, we know this is equal to minus EF by KT. This is minus EF by KT, and since EF is negative here, so by putting this value here, so this negative becomes positive, so that alpha becomes your positive, and after that we have calculated the total number of particles in the system and also the energy of the system. Now we will see the second case, that is for strong degeneracy. In case of strong degeneracy, this Fermi temperature, it will be very large as compared to this temperature, and here the energy we have considered, this is your positive. Since this is your positive alpha, that is minus EF by KT, so this becomes this negative sign into positive sign, that will becomes your negative. So here the alpha is considered as your negative. So when this alpha is large and negative, here the d will be less than 1, or we can say that this exponential minus alpha will be less than 1. Clear? As the degeneration increases, it means that when this value of 1 by d it increases, so the degeneration it becomes more prominent. So let us see, this is your 1 by d equal to n by GSZ, that is equal to n by GS into V. This part, in place of this partition function we have substituted this is h cube by 2 pi mkt whole power 3 by 2. So this is your partition function term, we have already been discussed it. So from this equation 1, we know the gas will be strongly degenerate at low temperature and when the density is high. So let us see. So now we will discuss the strong degeneracy at the two temperature range. It means that we will calculate the strong degeneracy at absolute 0 and the second one is above absolute 0. So let us see the first case, that is at absolute 0. At absolute temperature, that is T equal to 0 Kelvin, at this temperature 0 Kelvin, so your Fermi energy F of E equal to, you know, this is 1 by exponential E minus EF by KT plus 1. So this is the Fermi distribution function. So this Fermi distribution function, this will be equal to 1 when the energy value lies between 0 to EF, and its value is 0 when energy is greater than EF. Clear? So now we will see the total number of particles, that is the number of particle N of E into dE, that will be equal to this density function, this is Gs into 4 pi mv by h cube into root over of 2me into d. When this energy lies between 0 to EF, the value will be this much, the value of N of E dE will be this much, and when this energy will be larger than EF, its value will be equal to 0. Now we will calculate the total internal energy of the Fermi-Dirac gas at absolute temperature, that is 0 Kelvin. It means that this is called at 0 Kelvin, means this is known as your 0 point energy. So this 0 point energy will be equal to, this is energy into number of particle N of E into d over the integration 0 to EF. Now you can see, if I will substitute these values Gs 4 pi mv by h cube into root over of 2m, again this root over E into E, half plus 1, that will becomes 3 by 2 into d over the integration 0 to EF. This is the total internal energy of the Fermi-Dirac gas. Now we will solve this equation. This is equal to Gs into 4 pi mv by h cube into this is root over of 2m into this is your e power 3 by 2 d, means this will be e power 3 by 2 plus 1, the integration becomes e power 3 by 2 plus 1 divided by 3 by 2 plus 1, so that will be e power 5 by 2 divided by 5 by 2 over the limit 0 to EF. Clear? Now this will be 2 by 5 into Gs into 4 pi mv by h cube into root over 2m into this will be, by putting this upper limit, that will becomes EF power 5 by 2. Now from the previous equation we have already calculated that the Fermi energy EF will be equal to s square by 2m into 3n by 8 pi v whole power 2 by 3. Or also it can be written as EF will be equal to s square by 2m into 3n by 4 pi v into gs. In place of this 8 pi v, we have to substitute this gs term, that is 4 pi v into gs whole power 2 by 3, since gs has 2 spin. So now we will see that is equal to 2 by 5 gs into 4 pi mv by h cube into root over 2m. In place of EF, we have to substitute this value, h square by 2m into 3n by 4 pi vgs power 2 by 3 whole power 5 by 2. Clear? Now this is 2 by 5 into gs, this 4 pi mv by h cube into root over 2m into this is h square into 5 by 2. 2 get cancelled, that is h power 5. This is 2m power 5 by 2. I can write it like root over of 2m into 2m square, because this is 2 plus this is half. So 2 plus half becomes 5 by 2. So I can split this 2m power 5 by 2 as root over 2m into 2m whole square into this is 3n by 4 pi vgs. This 2 get cancelled, that will be power 5 by 3. Okay. Now this is your root over 2m get cancelled. This is 4, 2 square is 4, so 2 it will get cancelled. This is h power 5, h power 3, so that will becomes h power 2. Now this is 2 by 5 gs into pi v divided by this is your m into m divided by m square, that will becomes 1 by m into, it can be written as 3n into this is your, I can write this as 3n power 5 by 3 as 3n whole power 2 by 3 into 3n. It means that 3n power 1 plus 2 by 3, that will be 3n power 5 by 3 into this is h square divided by this 4 pi also can be written as 4 pi power 5 by 3 as 4 pi into 4 pi power 2 by 3. That means 4 pi whole power 2 by 3 plus 1, that will be 5 by 3. Now into vgs whole power 5 by 3. Now this pi will get cancelled with this pi. 2 to the 4, and so the rest of the term is this is 3 by 10 into n h square divided by m into 3n divided by 4 pi vgs whole power, this will be 2 by 3. Since this vgs, here this is vgs, so 5 by 3 minus 1, this will becomes vgs power 2 by 3. Now you can see that this term, that is s square by 2m into 3n divided by 4 pi vgs whole power 2 by 3. This is 3n by 4 pi vgs power 2 by 3 into this is h square by 2m. Here this is 3n by 4 pi vgs power 2 by 3. Here is 3n by 4 pi vgs whole power 2 by 3. Again this is h square by 2m. Here by taking h square by 2m, the remaining will be 3 by 5 into n into this remaining term will be your EF. So the total energy of the system will be 3 by 5 NEF. This is at absolute zero temperature. Now you can see that the pressure will be 2/3 of total energy divided by volume. So that will be 2 by 3B into the total energy will be 3 by 5 of NEF. 3 get cancelled. That will be 2 by 5 into NEF divided by V. That will be 2 by 5 into N by V into, by putting the value of EF, that is Fermi energy, that will be h square by 2m into 3n by 8 pi V whole power 2 by 3, or I can write it as 4 pi VGS whole power 2 by 3. This will becomes 1 by 5 by cancelling this term. Now this will be 2 get cancelled. 1 by 5 of n square divided by mv into 3n by 8 pi v whole power 2 by 3, or this is 3n by 4 pi vgs whole power 2 by 3. So it means that here the pressure has some value. So for strongly degenerate Fermi-Dirac gas, it possesses some energy, that is 3 by 5 of NEF, and it exerts some pressure. It means that even at absolute zero temperature, the Fermi-Dirac gas, it possesses some energy and it exerts some pressure. In case of Bose-Einstein and classical gases, the energy and pressure at absolute zero as zero. So this is the basic difference between the Fermi-Dirac and your Bose-Einstein or classical gas. Clear? So this is all about your strong degeneracy at absolute 0 Kelvin. In the next class we will see when the temperature is above the absolute 0, in that case what will be the energy and what will be the pressure variation in case of your Fermi-Dirac gas, and then we will compare this between your classical, we will compare this Fermi with your classical gas. This is all for today. Thank you.